Good morning, Fellowship Hi-Crest. It's good to be with you today for our Jumpstart. We are going to be in Acts chapter 20, verses 1 through 6. Go ahead and join me there. When the uproar was over, Paul sent for the believers and encouraged them. Then he said goodbye and left for Macedonia. While there, he encouraged the believers in all the towns he passed through. Then he traveled down to Greece, where he stayed for 3 months. He was preparing to sail back to Syria when he discovered a plot by some Jews against his life, so he decided to return through Macedonia. Several men were traveling with him. They were Sopater, son of Pyrrhus from Berea, Aristarchus and Secundus from Thessalonica, Gaius and Derbe, Timothy and Tychicus and Trophimus from the province of Asia. They went ahead and waited for us at Troas. After the Passover ended, we boarded a ship at Philippi in Macedonia, and 5 days later joined them in Troas, where we stayed a week. It's a really interesting passage. It might not be interesting to some of you. It seems like it's just they went from here to here to here. Someone tried to kill us in the middle. And there's a whole bunch of lists of names, right? I don't know who any of these people are. Some of them might sound familiar. But I think it's interesting because right before this passage, there had been a riot in Ephesus and around the impact that the Christians were having on the local economy. So many people were believing and following Jesus that the businesses that relied on the temple worship, the Greek temple worship in town, were starting to see a decrease in their profits, and it bothered them. And anyway, after this riot calmed down, it says that Paul spent time encouraging the believers there at Ephesus. And then he moved on to different cities and different regions, doing the same thing, encouraging them, spreading the good news of who Jesus was, and really giving encouragement to the existing believers in those areas. What I like about this passage is the list of names. See, Paul had a group of people that went with him that he was training, right? So they could do what he does. It's discipleship like Jesus did discipleship. He lived with them and he worked with them and he spoke and he trained alongside these believers. They learned from him. Then he sent them out on their own to do as he had done. And then he checked back in with them. They met up again. He did with them. He watched what they did. And then he reviewed with them. It's a pretty simple process, but it's so powerful and so impactful. And when we think about it and we actually start to put that in practice, when we live life alongside of other people so they can learn more about who Jesus is and how to share with other people our stories and share the gospel, and then sending them out to do the same thing and then reviewing and asking, how did it go? What did you learn? Man, it's simple, but it has huge impact. So I just encourage you to continue to not lone wolf this thing, continue to not lone wolf life or your Christian faith or your walk with God, but really get into that community experience, walk alongside some other believers, challenge yourselves, and get out there and share the gospel with others. Thanks for joining us this morning. Continue to power up, pour in, and spill out. We will see you on Sunday morning.